Hi everyone, Rose Webster here. A lot to tell you this week. I was really disturbed to find this in the Nature journal that Mosquito mate is planning to submit an application to the EPA for nationwide release of Wolbachia-infected Aedes. Now, every place I looked to try and comment, it was unavailable, or pretty much every place I looked anyways. So this is very disturbing. And then I found out that USAID is planning late 2017 or early 2018 to start releasing mosquitoes via drones in South or Central America. And one article mentioned Wolbachia pipientis and even female Wolbachia-infected mosquitoes. So, you know, in these drones, they're saying it's kind of hard to keep 1 million mosquitoes alive on board a drone. Well, you know what? They don't care. Because putting mosquitoes into a drone and releasing it, it's sort of like, you know those Contact C commercials where they have the time release capsule and the thing releases? All they're doing is finding a body to put a reproductive parasite in to lay it out all over populations of human beings. Why? Probably to sterilize males. And I know that sounds outrageous, but Wolbachia can survive a week in a dead host. So what happens when these Wolbachia-infected Aedes die or are consumed? That's the question. And I've seen comments where people say, well, it doesn't matter, the male Wolbachia-infected Aedes don't bite, so who cares? And the Wolbachia can't be transmitted in this and that and through the Aedes. Well, it can be transmitted via other things, and it has happened. So this is really disturbing. I want to show you that. Now, here are the places, okay, where Wolbachia-infected Aedes have been released around the world, and where Culex mosquitoes, which are larger, hardy, and found everywhere, including Europe, Canada, and Australia, they have been found to be vectors of Zika, although you're never told about it. And they're brownish, grayish. They're not the black and white that you've seen millions and millions of photos of splashed in your face for over a year now. Okay, and if the WHO, CDC, and Health Canada had followed the recommendations of Dr. Constancia Ayres, February 2016, we wouldn't be dealing with a huge public health crisis, and Zika would not have spread out of control the way it is. Although you're not hearing much about it, are you? That's intentional, my belief. So, I want to show you the purple were the two places where the EPA had initially allowed small releases, or so-called small. There's 3 species of Culex in Mexico, wild-caught, that were found to be vectors of Zika. And you know what? They're not going to stop at the border. And Culex tarsalis is found everywhere, even up into Canada and Saskatchewan. Culex in Brazil, I want to mention this, okay, have been found to have 2 types of mitochondria. Now my guess is, because mitochondria and Wolbachia stain similarly, one of those is probably Wolbachia. But that has yet to be proven. Now, the yellow is Michigan State University and Sun Yat-sen. They've been carrying them out for a long time in Southeast Asia. All the red is eliminate dengue. And now Mosquito Mate is going to be releasing them, and I'll show you the same kind of map, the purple expanded. They're going to start in Kentucky where they're based and spread out from there right up to Maine, okay? And then in California and Nevada as well. Now I know my borders aren't perfect and whatever, but you get the gist when you look at the global places where these are being carried out. Now, I also found, this was interesting, that Steelhead could go extinct this year. Steelhead are a type of trout. Now, Care2 is, you know, a lot of people are saying things, well, you know, we're overfishing and all this stuff. Well, guess what? When I looked up what steelhead consume, insectivores, invertebrate larvae. Steelhead eat insect larvae. And there's the 3 sentences of that source, with all the study literature and stuff. So I want to just remind you, Care2 does not guarantee accuracy, integrity, quality. of any of these petitions. The petition we have on change.org, however, does stipulate you have to make sure you have evidence for the claims you make. So just keep that in mind. Now, the WWF Canada Report 2017, I want to go over these statistics with you. Okay, because you're hearing that we're overfishing and so on. Well, fish populations declined by 20%, which is horrible. But we have shorebirds down 43%, insectivores down 51%, grassland species 69%, and that's even though birds of prey increased, their populations increased. Also, sperm counts have declined by more than half for Western men, and I have a couple of snippets here. It's not genetic causes, Dr. Levine said, and it must be either the lifestyle or modern or environment we live. Sorry about that. Okay, so I had a big laugh when I saw this headline. We don't need to save endangered species. Extinction is part of evolution. And that was in the Washington Post, and that's just the headline and the subtitle. You can read about that, but it's absolutely ridiculous. And my public comment was, well, it's not part of evolution when a species is artificially infected with Wolbachia, a reproductive parasite. And sadly, and I don't mean to upset any groups out there, but endangered species, at least in Canada, appear to have more legal protections in place. I'm not saying they're being enforced, because it's pretty obvious they're not. But this type of hype is actually geared to absolving the billionaires who are invested in Wolbachia-infected 80s male releases, which includes the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, USAID, 3 other governments, and 2 family foundations of any wrongdoing. And think about this, if they release them via drones, they don't even need human beings to be too much involved. Now, guess what? Cape Cod Times, and you're not going to find it in the CBC, they've pretty well censored me to death, and they're not even covering this. But yet another North Atlantic right whale has washed up on Nantucket. So that's bringing the documented death toll to 17, and that's the ones that wash up. Remember, Dr. Hamilton said for every one that washes up, there's 4 or 5 out there. And so I predicted this long ago. They're going to keep dying. They're going to keep dying. And I've seen comments, oh, I don't care, I don't eat whale, whatever. Well, guess what? We really should be concerned, because here's the deal. If you look up how whales help the environment, whales helped, they keep the food chain stable, prevent overpopulation of other species, and their poo, it actually helps fertilize other species like phytoplankton that fish feed off, and helps offset carbon in the atmosphere. And I invite you to look that up, because these species dying are crucial to the health of the planet and us. Not only that, they have a body temperature so close to humans that what's happening to them can very easily happen to human beings. And I think that is. I think we're on the cusp of that. Now, I want to remind you something, because I've been plagiarized a lot lately, and I will report it and send out takedown notices. I have no qualms about it. But I want to just let you know that there was a person going around copying, pasting like 90% of my comment, took out the link to our petition, didn't credit me at all, and added 1 sentence to what she copy and pasted. Now, that was, I guess, 8 days ago, and then 5 days ago she reached out to me and she realized she could publish on Huffington Post and wanted to write up something together. Well, I guess you can imagine who's going to be getting the credit and who's probably just going to be a mention. So I looked her up, and she's a lawyer and a teacher. So I want to let you know that when trolls or shills or plagiarists try to take credit for your work, document and expose it. Okay? People say don't feed the trolls, just ignore it, let it wash off your back. You know what? No. Just like with this Me Too campaign with all the sexual abuse, the only way you're going to stop these people, the only way you're going to stop them is document and expose. There's nothing illegal about that. Don't fall for guilt trips, because these people are thieves, and some of them are shills, and some of them are trolls, and you document and expose, simple as that. And there's another person that goes by Annette Halford that completely copy and pasted, and I've submitted my copyright removal. So there are people in this world, titled people, big titles, that will try to take credit for your hard work. And I just want to empower you to document and expose it. There's nothing wrong with that. And to fight it. So to leave this on a really positive note, I just want to let you know that I did, Cetacean cousins reached out to me. I've been sharing a lot with these whale groups. As you know, some of them just want to ignore it. Some of them are letting others know that, hey, this is a possibility. The Cetacean cousins reached out and said, hi, you have shared quite a lot here with us. Are you able to create a summary document so we can share? Thank you. So yes, I told them, you know, this article of mine has over 20 citations, and right at the bottom in the bibliography are clickable links to every study, every source of my facts, and that's on InfoBarrel. So I did respond to them. And so it doesn't matter if you have a Bachelor of Science or grade 13 biology or whatever. If you got an idea to save these whales, you're going to save this planet. And I'm serious. Okay, we need to save endangered species. Don't let this hype encompass you, because people are paid very well, highly educated people are paid very well to try and skew this evidence. And the pathologist report did not look beyond 2008 data. All they can say is 2 died from entanglements. Meanwhile, only 3.8 whales per year get entangled. So 2 died from entanglements out of 15 at the time that they had. 4 or 5 were attributed to blunt force trauma, likely ship strikes. But the evidence for that was severe internal bleeding. That could be infections and Wolbachia. And whales have suffered West Nile virus and St. Louis encephalitis virus. Zika shares that same phylogenetic clade with over 97% nodal support. And I heard experts saying, you know, 80% of whales die from this and that. They're not looking at a novel pathogen like Zika, nor are they even considering, it's not even on the radar to test for Wolbachia. So what I'm saying is, based on science and based on the novel pathogen of Zika, we need to test these whales. They often have mouth abrasions. We have Aedes larvae in our waters. They're going to get everywhere eventually. Some copods feed a little bit off each one. There's one type of copod can destroy 40 Aedes larvae. Well, those pathogens spill out into the seawater. These whales often have mouth abrasions. Some do get caught in entanglements. But this is a no-brainer to test for Wolbachia and vertebrates now. This is a no-brainer. So we need to keep demanding it. Spread the word. I don't make a cent off the petition. So I'm not looking for money. I'm just demanding that everyone knows that this needs to be tested for. We have a crisis on our hands, and it's far greater and more urgent than climate change. Thanks again for listening.